Wow. I didn't think it was going to jump right in, but apparently we are. Okay, so week of the 9th, technically, because all of this stuff, all of our board gaming Kickstarters come out on Tuesday, so that was technically the 9th. I'm monitoring. I'm going to stop that, because I realize just how annoying that can be. You know, well, it sounded good. Forgive me. I need to test. Just need to make sure that I'm actually getting some sound here. Yay! So, welcome to the Funderground. This week, we are going to be doing a little more structured. Not quite as structured as I would like, because naturally everything that could go wrong did go wrong yesterday, which is why this is happening on Thursday. These are supposed to happen on Wednesday to give me enough time to actually go through the Tuesday releases of Kickstarters. And we failed on that count. And I'm being distracted out of the corner of my eye by my person. So I'm going to cover my face up. Forgive me for this, but I can't see myself twice. That's too many times. So, what went wrong? Well, first up, the mic that I had didn't work, but because I had tried to make a podcast, really dating myself here, 18 years ago? Was it 18? Can't be 18. Oh, yeah, it was like 18 years ago. Tried to make a podcast, so I had an extra mic. So that was fine. Then I went with, as you can see, to get better sound this time, and I'm going to leave up the previous effort. I'm going to leave them all up so we can see the evolution as I actually figure out how to do this. I transferred the arm. I transferred that from my main computer where I record for work. Had to change some things, and I found an old preamp for the mic, which didn't work. I dug through all of my ancient. Here, you want to talk about dating? When I first started trying to podcast 18 years ago, we had to buy a Behringer, which is like the entry level low grade audio mixer, but they didn't have the capability of connecting to computers. They only had 1/4 inch outs, and by way of example, I know I have here's a 1/4 inch, right? So you would do an XLR into it, and then you would have to monitor it. You would have to just record it. Well, honestly, we didn't even know, to be frank, and I still don't even know how I'd record that. But we found a hack. And this was how we got into, oh, look at that. This was like a revolutionary device. But the problem was, it would only take RCA inputs. So, the Behringer would only output on mono 1/4 inch. So we had to get it to go in, we had to get these RCA inputs, but we couldn't find one with a 1/4 inch. We could only do was it 35 millimeter? And so, of course, I dropped it. And so we would come out. I'm sorry for this history, but, I went through it all just this week, so you're going to go through it with me. So we would come out of the Behringer with the 1/4 inch. See, mono. It's only, oh, look, there's only one little tab. We would come out, but the problem is, no one made any kind of female to male, like an extension or, so we had it's a male to male, onto which we would put a male to male that converts it to a 35 mil. And then, but here's the problem. The only way to go into the device that converted it for the computer was 2 males. They didn't even make a female receiver. So then we would have to make a male to male adapter. And this was how we connected the soundboard to the transfer device, the transcode device. As you can see, audio quality was somewhat impacted. Anyway, I'm sure that made a great noise. So, I found all these things, and I couldn't use that. There was no way I was going to use that for this. And I had been using an old Zoom device to connect to the computer, but it was terrible, and you heard the audio last time, so I think we got it solved. All right, so let's get into this week's gaming news. Oh, there's a change, slight shift. We're going to be doing... So this week we're going to be doing some news first, because just some cool shit happened. Oh, sorry. I'm doing my best to not swear. But cool things happened this week. Interesting things happened this week. Terrible things happened this week. The big news, obviously, was the announcement of Star Wars Unlimited from Fantasy Flight Games, because they just don't have enough Star Wars content yet. So this is... I want to make sure I'm at the mic. I'm sorry, you're going to see me kind of eat this mic a little, because I want to make sure you're getting the full sound. So, oh, I just peeked. Okay, maybe I'm swallowing the mic a little too much. There we go. So, Fantasy Flight announced Star Wars Unlimited, which is going to be a trading card game, so which is a departure from their recent living card game milieu. Which, to be honest, I personally prefer. I do not enjoy chasing cards. That dragon ended for me in the 90s with the big beast magic. I just can't. My kid kind of likes Pokemon cards, but not really, so it's not an issue. I am a big fan of their Marvel Champions living card game. You know, and for those who don't play card games, living card game, which Fantasy Flight invented the term. It's a card game where every expansion, like, that's it. There's no rares, you're not hunting for anything. When you buy the pack, so like, for example, you buy the core set, you get a bunch of heroes and some villains. Then they'll have expansions, which are individual heroes with some extra cards. And when you buy that one hero, you get all the cards that you're ever going to need. So all you have to do is buy one of everything, which still is not inconsiderable, and then you have the full set. Whereas a trading card game, or as it was originally a collectible card game, CCG, you chased rares. So you'd buy a booster box and it would have anywhere from, I don't know, it's changed. It used to be 15 cards with magic, and then it was like 12, and then some things are only like 6 or 9 or whatever. But you get a booster box, which is filled with a bunch of little boosters, and it's going to have, so if the whole set has, let's say, 150 cards, of that, 10% is going to be rare, 20% uncommon, and then the rest are common. And so what you're doing is you're chasing that 10%. So you're buying all these packs, so you're getting all this useless paper, all these junk cards, in order to just track down those really special ones. So the completionist in people is going to be an issue. But also, if you really need a specific card that's rare to make your deck work, then you're chasing triple hard, right? Because you got to get that. Or you got to go to singles, which are always going to be outrageously priced. And the more useful it is, the worse. Oh, hold on. My cat joined us. You're going to have to go. Come on. No. I know you love the fan, but you can't have it. Come on. Not today. You all right? Come on. Yeah, I know. Not right now. Yay. Look at that. A guest. Hopefully that is the end of that. So, what Fantasy Flight did was made the living card game, and this is them going, which they made a Star Wars living card game years back, which is now out of print, and here they're coming back with a collectible version, which I'm not going to get. Nobody knows anything about this, so if we go in and look at the news, they really don't tell us anything about the game other than dedicated trading card game fans and collectors can look forward to seeking out alternate cards with special treatments and variant visual designs. So not only are you going to chase rares, you're going to chase alternate rares. Sorry. I like a lot of what Fantasy Flight does, but this is just a money grab. I'm sorry. But in additional news, just recently, Star Wars Rivals was announced, an expandable game system. But this is from Funko Games, who, I mean, they've been making some interesting games. A lot of their stuff is just trash that's meant to sell their little Funkos. And this game, I don't know which this is going to be. We don't really know enough about it other than you get a box. There's also, okay, so this is a character booster pack. But again, booster, so you don't know what's in there, right? $5 a pop, you get one character and a couple of cards. I think like every character has like 3 cards. Now in the main, in the prime set, you get 4, right? So you're only going to need one of those. But here we go. We're chasing this, and this is just what Funko does. The only thing that we know for certain about the playing is there's going to be locations you want to control, and then there's this funky die that you have to roll. We don't know what to determine which locations. So I guess you roll the die to see which one of these locations something happens. It really just seems like a die roller, and then you use your cards to mitigate the outcomes of the dice. And then you collect location cards, so it's competitive. Now, this is in contrast to their previous Marvel Battle World, which had a similar thing where you had locations that you had to control, but it was cooperative. You teamed up with your guys, and then you rolled dice, and I mean, honestly, it's as basic as it gets. You roll. Let's pull up an image here. So you roll. You get one die. It's a 20-sided die. You roll it. Your character has these abilities. Then so these are the bonuses to the. So if you roll a 10, you get 10 plus 2, right? If you're on a location that has a matching symbol. So they typically have 2, and then you have to roll this number, the 7 plus, 10 plus. You have to roll that or higher to move down the track here. So you got to do it 3 times to win this one. But you only got to do it once here, but there's only one symbol that you can use, and it's a 10 plus, which makes it kind of hard. And then you have these little sun and moon symbols because, okay, so if you roll and you fail, you put a failure token up here, and if you ever hit 3, it goes away. If you lose 3 total locations in a game, you lose the game overall. Well, I'm going into this in way too much detail. Let's just say this really just was about collecting these little guys, and they all had their own little powers here. You know, they had different abilities also, but in the end, 90% of these guys were trash. They were just useless. There was no reason to play them. It was just to have them. But you couldn't get the full set of 30 without buying dozens of these freaking balls. Let's see if we got a ball. Why would there be a ball available? Come on, give me there's the die. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 10-sided die, not a 20, which is what makes that card that required 10 plus so insanely hard to beat. I can't believe they're not going to show us a ball. Okay, so here's these are the main packs that you get. But here's the thing. You get this one special guy, and then you get 2 randos, 2 special, potentially rare randos. Because that's right. On this collection down here, these bottom ones are super rare, and you can't really tell, but they're like the Infinity Gauntlet ones, so they're clear of a single color. And then it came with like 4 generic guys. So if you bought like 2 or 3 of these things, you're guaranteed to be rolling in a dozen of useless. Okay, so here's half of a ball. So the ball has a character, a die, these little tokens, the rules, and then a bunch of locations and your character's card. And it was an awful process, or system, I should say, of delivery. These hexagonal cards barely fit in the ball. So every time you open up one of these balls, you were guaranteed to have some of these paper plate locations and your guy. These things would be bent at the edges and twist. It was if you're a collector, it was trash. And so anyway, having all of these characters. Oh, and also you would get one Thanos stone, right? And you had to, and if you beat a location that was a Thanos stone, then you could crack this open, and then inside this little bag was the character card, so it was hiding it from you. So that was the rare. But you only got the Thanos stones when you bought that big kit. So you had to buy a bunch of the kits to get those Thanos stones. Is that right? No, every ball came with a Thanos stone and one other. I'm pretty sure that's the way it worked. Pretty sure, yeah. So you get a little Thanos stone, and then crack it open, and you get your guy, and then if you did that, then you got to play with that guy in that round. Anyway, at the end of the day, it sucked because really there were like 5 guys that were worth playing. Like Captain Americat was awesome because not only did he have a bunch of bonuses, but his special ability was he gave a +2 to anyone on the space with him. So you just had him trailing along, solving your problems for you. And so at the end of the day, it really wasn't that hard, so you had to make it harder, which I'm getting bogged down. Let's move on to the other piece of news this week, which is that, let me make sure, is this it? Yes. So Mythic Games had a Kickstarter for Rainbow Siege 6 here. I believe it was in 2021. Yeah. So from June 22nd to July 2nd of 2021, they had a campaign for Rainbow Six, the board game of the video game. And they have run into financial issues with it. And they have asked all the backers to pay more money. And now they did this before. Do I have it up here? No. They already did this once. When they converted another video game into a board game, Darkest Dungeon. And when that was set to be released, they went to the backers and were like, hey, could you pay shipping again? And at that point, you're already all in. So, shipping is anywhere from $18 to $25 for a smaller board game. And so people were like, or maybe $30 at that time. And people were like, all right, I'm already invested. So they did it. They said apparently 80% of people did it. But that also means that 20% of people were like, screw it. I don't even want, even how much I paid, I don't want. And I don't know if they did any refunding. But they're not going to, I don't think they did. And they're not going to do any refunds this time either. They're only going to refund the additional money you pay if not enough people pay the additional money this time. Now, here's the big difference, though. And this is what's going to be a real problem, is that if you were a smooth operator pledge level, which means you pledged $270 freaking dollars for a board game. Like, for $270, you could pretty much buy an Xbox S and Rainbow Six and go play it for real. But anyway, if you paid $269, well, you're going to have to pay $140 to get your game. So you might think that this seems like maybe they mismanaged their money. And you would probably be right, particularly when you see that they got $1.5 million from this game. So how does something like this happen? Well, typically, it's just mismanagement is the normal way. But these guys have made plenty, and they got, big name partner here with Ubisoft. They said that they underestimated shipping and production costs, which is kind of, I'm not really buying that so much because they did this funding period from June to July of 2021. We were well into the Suez issue and shipping problems. Like, people knew, you saw, like, the writing was on the wall here to some degree. What really, though, is the problem is twofold. One, look at this insane amount of crap that you get. Even if this is going to be like the 270. Okay, and we're not done. You think we're done? We're not even close to done. You can't see it, but because then we're going to come down here. Oh, daily unlocks. Look at all these little things. Look at this, wonderfully useful. Oh, when you set up a security cam, you get to see it. So instead of this cardboard standee, you're going to get this acrylic standee with a 3D printed security camera, and then a 3D printed bulletproof camera, and then, hey, when a signal disruptor and black eye cameras. Oh, look, and all these things. Look at this. It just keeps going. Look at all these things that you're going to get in addition to all the things you already got. Oh, wait, and there's add-ons. Look, it keeps going and going and going and going and going. Oh, my God. So, that seems like a lot of stuff for $270. Like, I feel like we're running close to cost at that. But then, even so, it still could be covered. Maybe we should only be paying shipping, not half of our entire pledge level. But here's the other problem that I think we need to take a look at. Right here. This is the team. There's 25 people on this list. Okay? They started making this game 2 years ago. Who was paying these guys? Oh, well, you did when you backed this. That 1.5 million. Let's just have some fun math. Let's just pretend that these people had normal salaries. Right? We'll say like 50 grand, but only half of it was funded by this. So, because I don't do math quickly. So, 25 people getting, oh wait, we shouldn't do that much. They're only going to get half of their income, right? So 25 people getting $25,000 a year is $625,000 just to pay the people to do the job. And these people deserve to be paid. They're working. They are, I mean, look, you saw everything that was in that. You need artists, and you need game designers, and you need sculptors, and 3D program designers, and graphic designers, and translators, and then you got your communications and sales. Like, all this stuff matters. How are they getting paid? What else are these guys doing? Well, what I think happened, or is continuing to happen, we're going to scroll up here. We'll just, woo, look at that, how fast that went. Here is, give me Mythic. There we are. So here's what I think has been going on. They've created 13. And what I think happens, so this is Darkest Dungeon, the other one that failed. Okay, but you notice Darkest Dungeon had 28,000 backers. Okay, let's just take a look. How much did that earn? 5.6 million. Okay, now for 5.6 million, you can pay 25 people a year or two, right? That's going to be okay. But when you have this many people only getting 1.5, and this is what I think the proverbial feces hit the fan, is Mythic has been playing a game of lazy Susan financing, where they started back here. Okay, they're doing well. Way back in the beginning, they were getting 10,000 people, right? So that worked really well. Okay. Now, the second one got 7 and 6, so like, we're doing okay. Around 7, 8, 4, only 2, then 17, and this is where this stuff started to go crazy. Hey, we got 17,000 backers, so they brought on more people, right? Well, then they kept those people for Darkest Dungeon, and they got more money, right? But then the next year, they did Super Fantasy Brawl, and it only got 8,000 backers. Well, now, the Giant Slush Fund is diminishing, and so what they were doing this whole time was paying people for the work of a project with the money from the next project. So every time they came out with a project, if it didn't quite make as much money, well, they got another project in the pipeline, and that's going to fill in the gaps. And they were doing this, except with Darkest Dungeon, when they hit their first problem, oh, well, they went from 30,000 backers to 8,000 backers. Slush Fund diminished. We need money from the backers now. And then, here we go. Rainbow Six, 10,000 people. Oh, we're getting better. Oh, but then Monster Apocalypse only did 6. And then
Anasteer did even less. We're going downhill. And now let's take a look at this. Anasteer was the Anasteer. I don't know. I know nothing about this. But here's the thing. When did this happen? April to May of 22. So they haven't released anything. They don't have anything else in the pipeline to fill in those finance gaps. And this is why people are paying through the nose to get their Rainbow Six back. Or at least that's my opinion. I have been so wrong so many times. Don't listen to me. All right, so let's skip forward to our first Kickstarter here. The Great Rat Wars. Now, I'm going to say up front, I wasn't going to include this because it's a 3-player game. However, it's actually a 1 versus many game, which means the villain player, in this case the Rat King, is 1 player, and then the heroes technically supposed to be 2 or more. I think you can get away with playing 1 person doing a double-fisted solo. These guys are not there yet. We're 2 days in. I actually have, let's see, do I have it up? I think I have it up over here. Yes. So it's been 2 days, and so they've gotten, okay, so I on Tuesday when I went through this, I wrote down what everyone was making at that point and how many backers. So these guys have jumped up 10 grand and 90 backers roughly. So I have hope for the Great Rat Wars here. I'll be honest, it's interesting. It's not my cup of tea. I don't really do the 1 versus many very often. It's not, maybe, I don't know. I don't have anything against it per se. I think it's an interesting method. I have like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The first version of that was 1 versus many, but to be honest, the only reason I bought it was because then there was a second game that came out that made it full co-op, and that's the only reason I got it. Because I found a way to backdoor my co-op into the first game. Conceptually simple. It's a weird post-apocalypse on a giant grid map that you gotta defeat the Rat King, right? Pretty straightforward. You got your characters with their abilities and whatnot. Let's see. Okay, so the hook for me, what I like from this, there's a couple things. One, this is the first thing that this guy's created, and it's pretty comprehensive. So that's just impressive in general. Secondly, I think the character designs are fantastic, but I also love all of these crazy destroyed buildings, and then these dumpsters are like something that you have to blow up to try and defeat the Rat King, because rats just pour out of dumpsters, right? It makes sense. But I love these defeated, crushed buildings. There's 24 of them. I think they're all the same, which unfortunately would have been nice if there was like some variety there. But they take up 2 of the hexes. There might be variety. I didn't take close enough of a look, but still, seeing a bunch of these, half destroyed buildings across the board is cool. And it gets even cooler because on the third thing that I love about this game is the method of movement. So the way you move is with these cards. See? So you draw a card for movement, and then within that grid, and okay, so you see the gold line there? That always has to face towards the top of the board, right? Where there's that gold line. So you have to find, I think you only draw 1 or 2 cards, or maybe 3. So you got to pick one. And so the red movement is loud, or I guess no, you have to deal with the obstacles, which is what makes this so cool, because all these dead buildings, all this stuff, you got to find a way around it to get where you want. I like the puzzle solution nature of that. Now the blue ones are the ones that allow you to just move through, which is why you'll see that they're pretty direct, because you don't have to worry about any kind of obstacles. You're sneaking. I think that this is I've never seen this mechanic before. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I've never seen it, and I think it's great. I love that there's like this whole special range, and it's not unique to each character in the sense that, you know, like you have that in all kinds of strategy games. Like, oh, these guys can always move 3, and these guys can move 2 and 1, and these guys can move in a range. No, this is every character has these cards, and you got to try and time this movement to what you're trying to do. I think that would make gameplay very fun. I don't know about this brass dumpster, but that looks cool. So anyway, this is Great Rat Wars. Yeah, it looks like all the buildings are the same. Well, let's take a quick look. Okay, look, come on. That Rat King is great, right? I do want to show you the character models. Okay, look. We got the bouncer. She's got a bat. We got the deli cook. Look at this dude. It's not an axe. It's a spatula. The Dawn. The hipster witch. Come on. That's great. The misplaced Texan. Now, I want to know, in the image he's holding this giant rat, and here it seems like he is. Does it have that? That would be cool. The realtor. The Soho stiletto, which I gotta say looks almost plagiaristically like someone will know. Am I gonna look it up? Am I gonna be that annoying? No, I'm not gonna. There's a character in Resident Evil that's like, this is basically her if you change the dress to red, and she's really famous. You know, apparently not famous enough for me to remember her name. The Subway Surfer, the Whiz Kid, and then here we go: King Rat, Prince Rat, and Queen Rat. I love these. These are great. It's got some real Secret of Nim. What is it? Who is that? Why can't I remember? Oh, those guys that left Disney and made, you know, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Secret of Nim. I can't remember his name. Because I'm old. I mean, I tried to make a podcast 18 years ago. How old do you need me to be at this point? Come on. We should be grateful that I can even figure out how to connect any of this stuff. All right, so I think this is really cool. The pledge levels, the basic level 65, that's fair. I mean, obviously the downside is this guy's never made anything before. But I think, okay, so I watch this guy's videos. If he's sold on it, that's a pretty solid recommendation. I think, I don't know, I have some confidence. I don't think that you're going to get screwed here. However, the core version versus the deluxe being nearly double, that's a big jump. And then the all-in at $235, I mean, whew, that's a serious investment, particularly for a first-time designer. I don't know, but take a look at one of these videos and see if you agree. And if so, then hey, jump in. Because, I mean, this guy's doing something right. Right, is it here? Oh, so you can play it on Tabletop Simulator and try it out first. There you go. If you have any interest, go play it. See if you love or hate it, and then that'll make your decision for you, right? Can we go to the rules? We could. I'm not going to do that to you. I just wanted to see if it was possible. Do they look complete? Yeah, 32 pages of rules. That's not insignificant. Oh, wait, where is it? Dumpsters. I guess maybe they'll all be painted. All right, I'm sorry. All right, let's move on. All right, Great Rat Wars. Looks good. All right, so our next puppy here. Okay, okay. This is not... I would not back this. Not because it's not worth it. This is not a thing that I use. And honestly, I don't think I would even bring up a map pack in general on Funderground because I don't use them. So I can't speak intelligently on this. One might argue I haven't done any intelligent speaking yet, but that's just mean. Stop it. Despite me not using this, I actually took a tour through this whole Kickstarter, and this guy's doing some cool stuff. Not only do you get a book of these battle maps it opens out and lays flat, so you got big ones. And I'm assuming if you play with miniatures in games,
or you can use these to represent areas in a D&D. This is probably very useful. I will say they look great to me. I mean, these really look like I'm playing a video game based on that. You're probably picking up the neighbor's dog. I'll figure out how to set a compressor on this, and maybe we'll be able to reduce that in the future. But, my neighbors have a large dog that they've trained to bark at everything. So, the reason I'm bringing this up is not only does he make some really good looking maps. I mean, seriously, they really look awesome. But he's also made 3D versions with animations that you can use in this virtual tabletop that apparently people can use to play D&D with each other, which, I mean, if that had existed when I was young, maybe I would play D&D, because that sounds great. So you can see here these files. So these images, they actually have animations happening. That's just cool. I mean, and the work and talent required is nothing to sneeze at. You got the 3 different, I know that the pledges, you can pick one, or you can do all 3, or I think you can even do a 2 and 2. Wait, don't let me lie to you. That'd be terrible. So there's the Foundry, all in. Okay, there you go. So there's one book, double fee. Yeah, see, 272 books. I didn't lie. And then all 3. This, what I wanted to point out about this, though, okay, come on, look at those. Don't look. I don't even play, and I think those are gorgeous. The reason I bring this up is I think that this guy is a really good test case. Where did it go? I've compressed the screen so that it fits over there, and so it kind of alters where everything is for me, which makes this weird. It's at the top here. Yes. So, Lion Banner Games. Okay, I should stop saying this guy. I don't know who it is. This person has made 3. Oh, Richard Carroll. Okay, so probably this guy. Here's the what I wanted to draw everyone's attention to. So this was his first. Okay, and it canceled. Now the reason it canceled is because these were actual play mats that he was making. And so what it looks like, what happened was he didn't anticipate the size that people would really want, and in order to place an order for mats that would be the size that people preferred, because he did a poll, I believe. Sorry, I have to scratch my leg for a second. Sorry. He realized he wasn't going to be able to make the project work within that kind of pledge level, and he didn't want to just increase the pledge level. Might be a lesson for you, Mythic. So he canceled it, and took some time, and then came out with this, which he learned from that. And he didn't do mats, he did a book, okay, that has battle maps, and it came with, okay, so now this is the thing. This one, though, had a bunch of extra stuff. And I think the lesson he learned here was that all the extras, pain in the butt probably, to try and get, miniatures, modeled, and then cast, poured, and delivered. Like all that, and the book, and I think there's a couple other little things in the stretch goals and whatnot. And I think that while successful, see, this 810 people were into it, I think it was probably a lot. And so he came back the third time, and I think he's like drilled down on what he really wants to do. And I think this is great to see the evolution of a Kickstarter, a designer who uses Kickstarter, that he found the way that makes the most sense for him. So now it's just map books. Like, he's talked to the people, he's gone through the process, and he's like, you know what? My sweet spot is the books. And that's what he's doing. He's making these books. And honestly, if I'm thinking about it logistically and financially, dramatically cheaper to produce, to ship. It's books. And they're gorgeous. And then he gives you the extra kicker that he created 3D animated versions that you can use in a tabletop. I think it's brilliant. Glad that the guy is funded currently, because he's at
8,400, 127 people backing him. Now, hopefully, since he had 810 on the previous one, hopefully he had a mailing list. Hint, hint, Kickstarter hopefuls. He had a mailing list from the previous one to notify them that this one was coming up, and we'll see this number get driven upward. All right. Next up. All right. So, I have some thoughts. Excuse me. My first thought. Everyone, I'm sending this out. I'm sending this out into the universe, but also, in particular, to anybody who wants to make a Kickstarter. Please delete the papyrus font from your computer. It's got to go. If you're some kind of font designer and you can come up with a better one, please do it. Look, I know it's become like a joke now about the papyrus font, but for me, God, that's hard to say. Papyrus font, blah, papyrus typeface. It's more accurate and easier. This is how you know that this is how you know you need to stop using this typeface, okay? Because when I was 23, 24, and I first started using AOL Instant Messenger, I'm going to date myself all day today. I thought I was so cool because I dug up and installed the papyrus font in AOL Instant Messenger so that I could see all of my texts in this cool font. And I also made the window like this weird bronzish orange, and the window in which the text was seen was maroon, like blood red kind of maroon. That is atrocious. Everything about that I just said is terrible. It was an awful human being. Like that is you do not want to be associated in any way with that. And honestly, the only reason I'm not associated with it is I'm just so much older than that now. I've clearly learned, because now the window's blue. I'm kidding. No, just seriously, don't use papyrus. It looks terrible. It looks like you got it out of a clip art file from the 80s. Okay, we got to stop this. I'm sorry. I'm really trying not to dish. That's not what I'm saying here. But I am trying to use these Kickstarters to educate people on best practices. Okay, do not use papyrus if you can avoid it. Really, almost anything is better. Except wingdings. Don't use wingdings. What are you doing? Wow, so after just saying I don't want to dish, I'm about to just say, I don't love the art. It's good. The person is clearly talented. Okay? I mean, look at the detail here. You know, I'm not going to, rub on his man nipples. That's just not what I'm here to do for you guys. You can do that on your own. Flight of Icarus, Kickstarter. Go look it up. I love the motion, right? We got little motion happening here. The sky looks good. Clearly proportions are good, which is like the first sign that somebody's not really talented. This person, everything, those arms are the right length, his head's the right size, the hair looks good, it's a handsome dude, a little elfin. I feel like that ear's probably pointed. But very talented. I don't love it. I don't know. I think it just, and again, this is a personal preference. This has nothing to do with, please do not think that me saying that is in any way saying that this is not worthy. No, I'm just saying that I'm giving you the reasons why that would give me pause when backing this. And again, it's just personal preference. Maybe you love papyrus. Screw me. What the hell do I know? Maybe papyrus is your favorite typeface. And you know what? Do you? Yeah. But I don't love the art. I think I have a preference for more contrasts, harder lines, I guess. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm a Philistine. That's probably what it is. What do I know? But here's the thing. I read the rules for this, and I really had a hard time. So basically, there's a couple moves that you can take. You use a seal from your each player has a seal. You put it on one of these parchments. You pay the stamina cost necessary to perform the function, and you're like prepping your wings in the beginning, right? You want to get big wings, like that's a special feature to get like large wings, and you need money to buy things, and I'm guessing you need to try and acquire stamina too, and then you also can get cards to control the weather, and the weather is where the second part of the game comes in. So like you move across this board, right? And depending on which level you are, so this says here, so this is what happens immediately, and then this is like an ongoing, is the way I would think it works. So in the A row, immediately anyone in the A row loses 1 feather, right? And anyone in the B row loses 1 feather, which is what you're seeing here. And nothing happens to C and D. And then the ongoing is that bottom row people gain 1 moisture. And so that's bad. You don't want to gain moisture because then your wings will fall apart. So there's like some cards will in the C, I saw one in the C level, it will make you lose a moisture, which is a good thing. But I think also the more moisture you lose, the more potential for your wings to melt. So it's like this, obviously it's a balancing act. But what it really just feels like is the game just happens on 4 lines. And that's a hard sell to me. From a simplicity perspective, I mean, it's great, right? You can probably knock out a game pretty quickly, which is good. But here's the thing, on that note, and again, I'm not trying to belittle anybody, okay? I'm trying to be very positive, okay? I think that they have great mechanics in this. They got some good ideas, and like I said, the artist is talented. It's just not my cup of tea. That's all. But it says right here that it says the Flight of Icarus is fast-paced and plays in about an hour. That's not fast-paced. Okay, if it takes an hour, that's not quick. A quick game, I mean, obviously I understand there are games that are 5, 6, 2 days, right? But an hour is that's not something you just toss out. Like, you need to set aside the time for that. So that's a little weird. And then the other thing here is, unlike many games with take that mechanics, Flight of Icarus does not feature player elimination. Well, first, you're conflating 2 different things. Take that mechanics are just when you are able to negatively impact someone else. You can be vindictive or spiteful or just retaliatory. You take that mechanics are when you can negatively impact other players and can do so intentionally. So it does not feature, even those who found their flight can still attempt to prevent the remaining players from safely reaching Greece. That is literally the textbook definition of a take that mechanic. So you need to do another pass, guys, on the text here, because this is your opportunity to convince us. So you need to put your absolute best foot forward, and that is you're underselling yourself here. So I know you can go in and make some changes. I think you should, clean that up a bit, and that would be helpful. Also, the game is only $39. Like, that's a good price point, right? Takes about an hour to play. You got, some, interesting building mechanics as the weather changes and causes ongoing effects. Like, there's some interesting stuff going on here. It's not conveyed as well as you guys can do, and I think it would improve your chances here if things were a little more clear. I think at $39 this isn't a bad go, but unfortunately I have my doubts on this thing surviving, which is really unfortunate. This person has created 14. Like, they clearly know what they're doing, which is why I find this
Okay, well, you're about to see me do an investigation on, I didn't look into this any further, so let's see what about these 14. Or maybe not. Maybe you won't see anything. Okay. So, that one made it, that one made it, that one made it. That one canceled, but then made it. Just barely, though, particularly considering this one got 219. That one made it. Unsuccessful. Didn't come back. That one made it. That one made it. Yeah. But again, canceled, and it looks like this came back. Maybe? Yeah, so it was like, yeah, came back and made it. Yeah, this guy can do it. Yeah, I don't understand these strange hiccups. He's clearly capable of getting this going. So hopefully this gets backed, because I think anybody that puts this much time and effort in deserves, and I mean, it works. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, it's just not for me. So we're going to move on to the next one. Yes. Okay. So I don't know what to think about this game. I like the style, some of it, not all of it, a lot of it. So the way it looks at the gameplays is you draw a card from the main deck, and if it gives you the ability to dig, then you go to one of these 4 locations to dig, and then you're supposed to collect sets. So it's like, it appears to be a trick-taking game. Hey, look, 20 to 30 minutes. That's a fast-paced game for anybody listening, paying attention. 20 to 30 minutes. I don't know. I like the card design, the edging. I like the borders. I think that's great. It seems incongruous with what appears to be a lot of 3D. I'll take you down here to see. Here. These seem like they're 3D models. This one, it could go either way. That could be painted and they just did a drop shadow. But a lot of these seem like 3D models, and I will say, though, I love that it goes outside its own border. Do more of that, everybody. Everyone that's coming out with a Kickstarter, give me more of that. Go to the borders. I love that stuff. Anyway, so here it is. You got your dig deck, your buyer. So I think like the buyer decks, like they have certain, they're like goals. They're looking for certain things, and you draw from the dig deck to find things, and if you get lucky and you get a dig kit, then you can dig in one of these locations. I'll be honest, it's not entirely clear, and I don't know that I read a rule. I don't know if it was offered. Was it? Let's see. I promised I'd do better with this, and then I didn't. I failed you. Anyway, I like that they're using the border in the images. So here's the other. Again, we're going to be doing a lot of teaching this week. Don't do this. Just going to state it. Where's all the art? Our talent artist is one painter army. So there's one person painting this, and they're paying this individual. They're saying that over 60% of the funding goal will go to the artist. That's great. We don't really need to know that. Furthermore, we don't really need to know is that you're basically saying that this whole thing is to get the art done. This is not a favorable scenario. This tends to put backers off a little, in my personal experience. The idea that really a lot of the work hasn't been done yet, and so this adds one more element of chance to a backing. I'm not saying that this doesn't happen all the time, because of course it does, but maybe we don't shine a light on it, is all I'm saying. Because we all know the people, we understand it's part of the language of Kickstarter. You're going to take the money to get paid, right? Part of that money goes to pay you and then to pay the people that work on it. We get that. You don't need to point it out and make it clear that you haven't even done the work yet. That's, it's okay to say like, and if we, reach a certain stretch goal, we'll introduce a solo campaign that is created by, X famous designer or whatever. That's something different. that's something, if you're planning to do a Kickstarter, I recommend avoiding that. That said, the art that I do see is interesting. I don't necessarily understand it. I don't know if it's 3D art or not, but I kind of like that I don't know. I don't often get to say this word. It's tantalizing. It messes with my brain in a way that I find fun. But here's the reason. I don't mind recommending this. It's $39. Oh wait, is that the early bird local pickup? So what is it? Collector set is 90. Wait, they don't. Am I about to be annoyed? No, it's $39. Oh, okay. So the early bird gives you bonuses. That's all. No big deal. So it's $39. Come on. You're going to get some weirdly interesting art. The mechanics seem, it seems like a trick taker. No big deal. So many people love trick takers. Not my cup of tea, but hey. And hey, you get a random button in every pledge. Come on. And two, random. I don't love random stuff, to be honest, because it's that FOMO thing. But I do like the idea of two of the cards being a hollow foil. That's kind of cool. Hey, there they are. I'm guessing that's the artist. And maybe that wasn't a scan; it was a picture, because she's holding something that was on one of the cards. There it is. An Ammonite. I don't know. See, doesn't that look like it's 3D? Doesn't that feel like it was 3D painted? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. It's interesting. It's unusual. We're going to the next one. All right. Roll and control. Okay, so we're in my wheelhouse now. Roll and rights. And they outright state it's 1 to 4 players. Okay, you can play this solo. Like, you can really play most roll and rights solo. I mean, the vast majority. Some of them have a competitive nature that's like ingrained, where like you need a common one is actions that are being taken are scarce, and so different people get to pick what to do. So if there isn't somebody else picking something and denying you that choice, it kind of ruins the mechanics. So some games then they introduce an AI version where you just turn over a card and it just always picks that or the next closest thing. Anyway, I'm going off the rails. Anyway, it's a roll and write. And it's interesting. Pretty straightforward. It's got a little kind of Catan-esque vibe. We'll show you that. And look, he's already funded. There you go. Of course, 219 isn't asking much, but then also I think it might be a fully digital. Let me not lie to you. Yeah, that's it. $4. There you go. I mean, I can just stop now. Just do it. But actually, there's some interesting stuff going on here. So first of all, much like in Catan, these exterior elements affect the interior elements, and they're randomized. So you roll dice. Okay, and I don't know if you can see it there. I know you can see it further down. Okay, right here. So, as you can see, if you roll a 5 or a 6, then you put a 3. If you roll a 3 or 4, you put a 2. 1 or 2, you put a 1, right? Then, that basically determines how much you're going to earn for the areas. This is the part that I don't get. It doesn't make any sense to me, is when you assign soldiers, so this whole game is predicated on taking control of these citadels, and you do so by having a majority in here, but other people can put their forces in one of these, thus denying you access. So what I don't understand is why, and it wasn't clear in the instructions that I went through. See, right here. Use a die and recruit a soldier to your barracks that has the same value as a die used, right? So you roll your dice, you roll your 5 dice, right? And you take 2 of them, and one's a 3 and one's a 1, and then you fill in that. Great, but why?
why a 1 and why a 3? Why isn't it 4 soldiers? Why is it a number 1 soldier and a 3 soldier? And nowhere along here was that made clear. It just seems like they're just generic soldiers. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so you can go to outposts, but it has to be an outpost that matches, and I think you have to have soldiers in the... Anyway, but in any event, I don't understand that. That doesn't mean that there isn't a reason. I'm just saying that it wasn't clear to me, and yeah, I don't think there was a rules. But with that one thing notwithstanding, all the rest of this that I looked at was great. Like, this is well designed. This is tight mechanics, the way this thing functions and the way you can play with multiple people. I really like this, and at $4, jeez, I don't even know why I'm still talking. You know what? I'm not. Roll and control, awesome. Do it. Next, I don't know how to say this game. I'm gonna say Polysemis. I'm hoping. This is weird. Okay, I took notes on this, and I should probably pay attention to my notes. That would make sense, right? Okay. We're really much further along than I thought we would be. Okay. Okay, so in my notes I said, I have no idea what's going on here. Consistency is key. All right? Remember that. Okay, so this was a combination. This is another teaching tool or teaching moment, but also good stuff to say. So we'll start with the teaching tool. Okay. You need, if you're going to do a Kickstarter, this is the one thing you absolutely need to do. I highly recommend before you post, before you launch, because when you create a Kickstarter, there is a ridiculous amount of fields to fill in, and some of it you can do with an image, some of it you can do with writing your own text. Sometimes you can just make text on an image in Photoshop and then just put it in there so you can create your own, because Kickstarter offers a very limited font set, typeface set, papyrus. So you need to let somebody proofread it. Please let somebody proofread it. The fastest way to turn me off of your Kickstarter, and I am confident other people, is to have poorly written text. And it's because it implies that if you didn't have the patience to check what you write when you're asking me for money, then I don't necessarily have the confidence that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's when making the game. That said, yeah, I don't understand why these commas are like this. That is a really weird stylistic decision. I mean, I don't think that these people, Joel, that's the guy, that whoever made this, I don't think they made this typeface, but it's an odd choice. But we're just gonna just keeps going, huh? So it's things like this. Like right here, there's an extra space for no reason, and same here. Now, and it's not because the typeface forced it, because this is not the formatting is not to the edge, so that's not introduced by the font. This is just extra spaces. Now, I will tell you that psychologically, this typically happens both in writing and typing. When people are thinking while they're typing or writing, they will hit space more than once in the thought, or your hand will continue along the paper, and so there will be gaps when you were thinking about something, and that often happens here. And what this implies is that this person wrote this on the fly
directly into Kickstarter, as opposed to writing it in a word processing program and then copy and pasting, which again, that's a good recommendation. Write your Kickstarter content elsewhere, proofread it yourself at least, maybe have someone else do it, and then copy and paste. So like here, so on each player's turn, apostrophe S, and then an extra space at the beginning of a carriage return. They roll the move dice and move the amount rolled. This is the space. Only mandatory action each turn. I don't think there's a space after the period. Maybe there is. You need a comma after. You can't have. Anyway, so I unfortunately went through this and was just appalled. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, and I shouldn't have. I apologize, Joel. You just need a proofreader. That's all. One proofreader cleans up all of this, and also this isn't like text on an image. You can just go in and fix this, and I highly recommend you do so. Now, let's get on to the bonus side. This is crazy. This game feels like some insane cross between pinball, a video game, and almost like A Wrinkle in Time. It's like, so how do I, okay, look at this. Do you see all these boards? Okay, Unravel, Gouldem, Gauntlet, Lair, Homestead, Tomb, Dreamscape, Doors. As far as I can tell, they're all in play at once. You interact with all of these locations. Look at this. You need the dice. You need 2 different kinds of dice, 3 different kinds of dice, 12 sanity cups. Come on, I'm on board with anything that has a sanity value or meter. Okay, so look. So here we go. Roll and move. Like, this is classic. I mean, it's a little Candylandish how simple it is, but it's not that simple, because look over here, here's a pathway that you got to get up there. This indicates something. I think this is like total progress over here. But look, warp, jump from board to board via port. All of this is on the board. There's got to be, there we go. Look at this. What is going on? I'm going to say it again. What is going on here? This is incredible. If he pulls this off, Joel, is this you? No, that's Vincent Peon. Joel Cook. If you make this work, it looks fabulous. And here's the thing. You can play it. And I love that. Fantastic. That is a gold star on that, giving people the opportunity to try it out. So now we can know. Look at all these tokens. Oh, see. Okay, look. I know that I kind of bash having a bunch of stuff in your games, but I really mostly just bash miniatures. You give me a bunch of tokens and a bunch of different boards. Oh man, I love it. Look, and it all packs easy. So this thing, from what I was able to gather, because I didn't have enough time to really dig in, it has some interesting mechanics. I just love the crazy all over the placeness. So let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, I mean, $61 is not that bad for all that. Physical manufactured copy. What does this one give you? Physical. What is this? Perth pledge? Oh, okay. So it's for just by location. And look at this. Oh, another solid W. 2 pledge levels. Just, I don't know why. Oh, so, okay, so 2. So it's really just 1 pledge level. This one's just a pickup. I don't know why it's not cheaper, though. Oh, well, you probably won't pay shipping afterwards. Right. It's the same cost. It's just with this one, with the other one, you'll pay shipping, and this one you won't. $61, though. Guys, it looks really interesting, and I recommend trying it on Tabletop Simulator to see what it's like. It's wild, but Joel, do another pass on the text. That's all I'm asking. All right, moving right along. All right, here we go. I like a single page roll and write style game. Actually, I don't think this is actually no, it is. It is the roll and write, but it's not. What was the thing I was thinking? I wasn't thinking. I can barely remember to breathe. There were no thoughts in my head. Anyway, I like this. Just randomly, this 3, this sideways. There's no reason. Just like it. Clean design here. I got to tell you, as soon as I saw this, my first thought was this is FTL on paper. And for the non-video gamers out there, FTL was a roguelike game where you got a ship and you had to basically do this. You started at one point and you would pick at the end. Man, I'm really popping there. And you would choose. Oh, don't use the letter B. You would choose a direction. And that direction dictated subsequent directions and also denied you other directions, and which made it heavily replayable. So you would only go through a handful of the total locations, and then on the way there, something might happen, and then the location was randomized to a degree. Things would happen, you'd get boarded by aliens. One of your crewmen would get infected. You'd hit a meteor shower, whatever. This basically does that, and what you're supposed to do here is you have to beat these 3 enemy ships, which are very organic, clearly. I don't know what's happening. I chose not to know because I think it looks so cool. I do believe, based on just glancing, that these are abilities here. So we got dodge, ram. Maybe should have split those up. Extra attack, shield, and reroll. So what it looks like is these first couple ones that are highlighted like this, these are probably the free ones. And then each one past that probably costs you some other kind of resource or final points or something. I'm guessing that's what that is going on there. But I like this. Look, right here on the board itself, it tells you what you're going to encounter. You probably have to roll for this or something to find out. Each location you go to, I mean, it feels like these are dangerous and these are potential anything. And then maybe like this is like a dock where you can repair, or maybe here's something treasure you can find, or I don't know. I'm guessing. Looks awesome, and it's a single page. I'm guessing you could probably play this thing in like 15-20 minutes, but it looks. I mean, look how many options you have. Like you can, trying to find the best path to the end, and doing your best. This looks like it'd be a blast. Let's see, what does it cost? $5? Oh, screw it, I'm out. I'm kidding. One's the color version letter, one a game sheet. Okay, I think it's entirely digital, is it? Yeah, so it's download and print. Okay, yeah. It's right over here. Come on, Brown. Get your head out of your ass. Yeah, so you print them out. That's why it's $5. This looks great. I don't want to know too much. I don't want to know. I mean, I want to back this thing for $5. Come on. How could you not? And has anyone? Yes, look, he made it. 1,000. Did he make it when I was? He had made it. Wow, that's weird. In 2 days, he's only gained like 10 followers. That's weird. I mean, he got back right out the gate, which is great, but I feel like this deserves a little bit more love. This is cool. All right, next. That's not right. Biz games, one space. Oh, did I skip? Oh, I'm sorry, Rustbots. I don't seem to have your logo up. And I don't want to skip forward and reveal everything yet. It's a slow drip. That's how we do things here. You like my squeaky floor? Did that come through? Yeah, so we don't have the... Sorry, we'll just have to suffer.
I didn't have a contingency. See, I told you everything went wrong. If I had my crap together, there would be like a splash page that I could toss into that little corner. But now I look like an idiot. And I'm not going to, and I could stop myself looking like an idiot by skipping Rustbots, but I'm not going to do that to Rustbots. All right, Rustbots. The robot building card game. It's weird. Like in a cool way. First of all, I love this Gendy Tartakovsky kind of style here. Like, it's got that 50s washed out Art Deco kind of vibe. Love it. So the game is pretty straightforward. Sorry, my knee's gonna crack. It's pretty straightforward. It's almost painfully straightforward, but in a cool way. So let's go down to the board. Come on, son. Oh, I swear there was a board when I looked. My sanity is frequently in question, so maybe not. Wow, did I skip past it? Huh. Well, so anyway, I swear I saw a board somewhere. So basically what you do is you have an enemy that you need to take on. And there's an example. Here we go. So there's a mission, right? So stop the asteroid, right? And you have things that you need in order to make that happen. Let's see. Here we go. So first of all, here's a robot, right? 5 parts. You got a head, body, 2 arms, and legs, right? So you draw from a central pile. So you get junk. So like this hippie van, this is junk, okay? And it has stuff on it, and you can, I believe you can pick one thing from there to build. And I think it has to match the color or something. I'm not really sure. But, and then you have to build a robot that has these requirements: a blade arm, a high-speed base, and an armor body. And if you're the first person to do that, then you defeated the samurai and you get that mission and you get those points. But there are other cards in the junk pile that allow people to take your stuff or swap stuff with you. So it's just like it feels like it's going to be like a frantic, mad dash to assemble some wacky ass robot to be the first one to try and take out, whatever the mission. But these missions. This is probably where I was reading it. Do they have more mission cards? No. But anyway, but you saw those 3. Look at that. So we got stop the asteroid, defeat the samurai, journey to the center of the earth. Look at these. These things look like pulp novel covers. I love it. So here's sabotage, destroy someone's, take something. I don't know what power surge does, and I can't see it. Swap with another person, master craftsman. I think this is it lets you just instantly build something, which is why there's only 2 of those. Yeah, this looks fun, fast and fun. Tinkerer pledge 2. That's donation, $30, and you get all this. Look at all these combos. Look at all that stuff, man. See, this I love. That is a load of potential missions, right? And I'm imagining that there might be... I'd like to think that in this pile of parts that some are a little more rare, so that would make some of these a little harder to pull off. That might be interesting. But not really necessary, because you're going to be constantly jockeying for position in this. It looks great. $30. 35, what do you get? A mention on Kickstarter thank you card. That's cool. Master Craftsman. Oh, I think that's just the early bird. Yeah. $30. That's fair. How they doing? They are not funded. That is a crying shame. Seriously. Shame. I think this looks awesome. And for $30. We got 21 days though. Come on, people. Let's make it happen. All right. Next. Now we get there. All right. This, I think we've crossed a line. Let me double check. Yes, we did cross a line. So we're no longer in the FunderDog zone. We're into stuff that either they already had some groundswell or, forgive me, drink water. Do you let... Sorry, not into the mic. Do you love my cardboard cover for the Street Fighter machine? It's not because I'm ashamed of Street Fighter. It's because over here is a bunch of stuff that's really bright, like screens and lights and stuff, and it reflected directly into the camera. It was really distracting. At some point, I'll swap that out for... I mean, I'm not going to swap out the Street Fighter machine over my cold, dead body. But I'll probably swap out that cover for something a little more interesting than white cardboard. Or maybe not. Maybe that will be my badge of honor. Not a hill I'm going to die on. So, Leviathan Wilds. Here's the elevator pitch. Shadow of the Colossus. That's it. That's what this game is. But co-op. Shadow of the Colossus, if it were co-op. I backed a game years ago, and then recently I got the sequel, which I had backed a while ago. The sequel took a while. Which is a similar concept. It was called Skull Hollow or Skull Hollow. And it was like climbing a Leviathan to beat it. However, it was a one versus many. Oh, see, I told you I didn't not. It was one versus many where the one player was the Leviathan character and you were trying to bounce the other guys off. And what was really cool is there were different, like the co-op guys were like an asymmetrical style. Like they were like clans that were trying to defeat it. It was really cool. Came with these giant, like 8-10 inch cardboard versions of. Oh, hey, I'm back. Cardboard cutouts of the Leviathans, or I don't know what they were called. Really cool. But this one has a much more arcadey kind of vibe to it that I dig. Love the art. Love the little meeples, screen printed meeples. Come on, you know I'm gonna love it. But look, it doesn't need our help, so it doesn't really qualify for the Funderground here. But I still think it's cool. So, and I'm not going to be exclusionary. Come on, I'm allowed to like other things, and maybe you want to know about this stuff. I'm not going to show you everything, but I'll show you the stuff that I like. Look, $59. Look, everything. I'm going to say look at least 6 more times. So look here. We got co-op, solo, 60-minute playtime. Interesting semi-dice based mechanics. It's giant monsters that you're trying to beat. Like, oh, I don't want you to hear my alarm go off. That would be awful. I love so much about this. And the fact, you can tell because I lost my voice. Can you tell I'm not a regular streamer? 1 hour in and I can't even talk. So anyway, look, so we got a book filled with monsters. Love it. You bounce around the monsters. You have your guy. You have... The character has a deck, and then there's a class deck, and then you shuffle them together. Love it. Bunch of combos there. I like this, that you can leap across, and then apparently you defeat the creature by reducing these... Like, basically, you're trying to heal the creatures. They're infected with these crystals, and you're getting rid of them. So it's like, it's not even like you're trying to kill them. You're helping them. Look, nothing but positivity. And then this might be why this looks so good to me, because the people who made this made all of these things, half of which I own. So I'm already on board, right? They had me from the go. So, $59 for the core. Do we have a... Nope. Gold star, folks. 1 pledge level. Boom. I mean, they have an early bird, which I don't love too much, but that's fine. 1 pledge level. Get you your game. Great. And this is actually, I love this. Little attack markers. I don't know what they're for. I have no idea. But I imagine it could be one of two things. Either you set it somewhere to make it a priority, or it gets put on around one of your meeples to indicate that you're about to get slammed, right? And maybe you have an opportunity to not get hit. Either way, love it. I've never even seen anything like this, right? A hit indicator that sits there. Oh, come on. All right, I'm going to stop gushing because lacks decorum. All right, so we got a little a newsletter exclusive. So you got a little bonus thing. All right, we'll just move on. Oh, look, there it is. Yeah, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit. I was right. Mm-hmm. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I got so excited about this game. Who's up next? Animal Kingdom. Okay, so I'm not advocating for this or anything. I'm also not saying don't, but it's a CCG. I brought it up. Funnily enough, I actually formulated my thoughts and ran into this game before I got into that tirade earlier about before I planned to go into that tirade. Well, I didn't plan the tirade, but before I planned to talk about trading card games, which I did earlier in the stream. The first thing that occurred to me when looking at this game was, God, man, this seems familiar. And then I looked it up, and yeah, it does seem a little familiar. Huh. That's fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. And also, I don't really think that they stole it. I just think, gold letters with, a blue background. It works. This is a traditional CCG. Look, you get the deck. So this is a classic CCG style. They'll have a starter pack, which has like a theme, or the minimum that it needs is it has enough cards that with the starter pack you can play a game. Not necessarily a full game, but because the way it was with Magic in decades past was you needed 2 starters, 1 for each player. And now they typically, more often, CCGs have a box set with not great cards, but it teaches you how to play, and it comes with 2 full set or 2 players worth of cards. So this is what these are: power, mysticism, subterfuge, and authority, which is actually the flavors of the game, which we'll get into in a second. And then, so you need, obviously you'll need 2 of those in order to play at all. And then here's the next set. So you get 4 starter kits, and then 1 first edition booster box. There it is. It's always about the boosters. So this is a game with rarity. And so look, immediately the next pledge level is 3 booster boxes. Why? Because you're going to chase rares. That's the way this stuff works. This is why I do not do these things anymore. In the Golden Paw tier, there are only 18 slots left. Oh, wow. Totally got that screwed up. Only 18 people have selected it for 3 boosters. So what are we doing here? All the different pledge levels. So it looks like, even though this thing's already made it, it appears that, sorry for flipping around too much, guys. The vast majority of people, wait. So it was some early birds. Didn't they already make it? Yeah, they did make it. Wow. Only 150 people backed this. It's not cheap. So anyway, I don't know why I'm doing this. Sorry, not that. I don't know why I right clicked. I don't love CCGs. I, in particular, do not love a CCG, a collectible card game, on Kickstarter, because should you want to really get involved, where are you going to do it? Like, you can't go to the store and buy more of these, right? So this is a one shot. So that's cautionary. For me, I will say it seems interesting. The art is great, and they're doing the Magic the Gathering style, where they have different artists of different backgrounds and design methodologies. Artists who have different art. Which is great. That was one of my favorite things about Magic was, as the new sets would come out, they would change the art on some things. It was great. I also like that you start as, you gotta it's like a city building thing, sort of. So you gotta recruit people to go do things. And this is, you pick your mayor, and then your mayors so this is the flavor in the corner here, their style and approach. And then you recruit people to go on missions, and if they succeed, then you get the points, right? Conceptually, I like it. Also, if anyone who's ever played Magic the Gathering, this is it's cribbing pretty hard from the Magic aesthetic there. But here's where I went, on the flavors here. Mysticism is blue. And use mystical stratagems to freeze your rivals in their tracks and control the pace of the game. So, blue stasis decks. And then we got red, white, and green, but no black. But here's where they depart from the outright cribbing. The green, deploy workers to other and wreak havoc, turning. Well, I guess that's actually, green was all about creatures. Like, you just tons and tons of creatures. So yeah, green here is creatures, you send them. Red in Magic was all about direct damage. So hire strong adventurers and rush them out of the world to quickly scoop up quest rewards. So instead of damaging the other people in this game, you win by gaining points. So still kind of thematically the same thing. You are directly attacking the goals, right? You're earning the points as quickly. And then white in Magic was all about healing and global effects. And here, enforce restrictions on other mayors and hire a productive workforce to outpace your rivals. So here we go, global effects. I mean, I'm not trying to imply anything, but hey, man, when it works, if it ain't broke, right? I do love this, and it's unfortunate it's only the rare, but hey, I said it earlier, I love it when the art pushes to the edge or breaks its own bounds, right? So, like, look at that, going right up over the name, and then they sign it, which is cool. If I liked a game and could get an artist to sign a piece, that'd be great. I do love this additional art style. Oh my god. Sorry, I didn't want to cough at you. So, I'm not saying back it or don't. You do you. I will not involve myself in another collectible card game ever again. It's just not the way I roll. Oh, wow. $575. Oh, geez. 6. But you would have to, right? If you want to get all the cards. All right, moving on. This is wild. I could not comprehend the rules that I read. I was reading the rules and I'm like, wait, what? I went through them twice, and there was just some. I'm not saying they're poorly written. I think they're just a rough draft. But I watched a video, and that it cleared up everything. This is complex, tightly wound worker placement style action taking. I'm not gonna lie, it's cool. So the basic premise is you have an assembly line of things to do, and you start at the bottom and work your way up in a particular order, and then you can build robots to perform additional functions, and you can get multiple robots to perform more actions on that particular action. So like design, engineering, recycling, whatever. I'm making that up. I don't know if that's what those are. Oh, I'm so sorry. I need a dead man switch for the mic. So what is crazy cool about this is everyone gets a deck of cards that gives them actions they can take, and everybody's actions are the same, potentially the same. You have the same, all of your cards are identical, but you shuffle them up, and then you play them. But what you're playing is not the action you're going to take, but the amount of power you're going to give it. Okay, so that determines. So if you look down here, like this action takes 7 energy. Let me get you a better look. Why would there be... Give me one card. Okay, so like, here you go. 3 energy to do this, which is take 2 of any resource to improve something. I don't really know what you do there. Okay, so upgrade, assemble, design, fabricate, recycle. So I was close. I said engineer instead of fabricate. So what you do is you take one of your power cards right here, and you determine how much power you want to give to which one of these actions. And then you can only do 2 cards per turn, and so you can only take those 2 actions unless someone plays a card with energy at the top. And if that happens, then you take that much energy in these yellow cubes and you put them on the corresponding. So if you say I'm going to do 4 energy worth of assemble. So you do that, then you got to take those 2 extra energy, put them on assemble, which means that another player who did like upgrade and fabricate can also do 2 energy worth of assemble, right? So this is where the first layer of strategy comes in. It's like, I really need to do this. See, because like here's the 6 energy, 4 energy. So I really need to do this one thing. I need to spend at least 5 in assemble, right? But then you're going to be given, but if it's 5, like say it's 4 and you get 2 squares, that means you're actually getting 6. So you're reaping the benefit of those cubes, but you're also providing somebody else. And if somebody else also did assemble, well, now they're getting theirs and yours. You know what I mean? So there's that element. But then you can also, see, there's the cubes. One of the resources is energy. So you have a tracker on the top of the board, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, right? So if you have like one of those batteries in the 4 slot, well, you can use up 1 through 4 of that, slide the marker over and add that to whatever action you're taking in each one of these steps. So you start here, you move here, and so you have to do each one. And you can take as many of these moves in here as you have energy for. I don't know any more beyond that, other than I love these robots, and they're trying to push like the STEM thing with this, which, I mean, great, but there is no STEM thing about this. Like, you're not learning how a combustible engine works. It's worker placement. But it endorses STEM, so maybe that's good enough. I don't care. It's cool. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. And hey, oh wait, that's for the retail edition. Oh well, that's it. Oh, the deluxe, $69. Oh, you get the pets and the deluxe. What's the deluxe? Let's take a look. What's the deluxe get you? A gold foil deluxeified box. That's some interesting verbing. The pets expansion. That sounds cool. Wooden tokens and markers and a bunch of card sleeves.
Take it or leave it. I mean, I like to protect my games, but most people like to get their own sleeves. Stretch goals and social goals. Do you not get the goals? Oh, you don't get the stretch goals if you don't do the deluxe. Ooh. I don't love that. That's not the norm. So there's the caveat, right? So there's the one step back on this, which makes everything else feel a little better, right? I gotta tell you, I think this looks really awesome, and we'll move on. Who's up next? Oh, yes. Okay, so this is not me endorsing this. I've never played Clank Legacy 1, and does not need my endorsement. Look at this, 500,000. But I thought it should be brought up because it's a legacy game, which means it changes. Everything I've read or watched about the first Clank Legacy was fantastic. I mean, we're talking lots of accolade. And it sounded great, but one, it's directly competitive, and it's a push your luck. And I have the original Clank, it's the same thing. You know, it's a deck builder, push your luck game. So you typically win by, you have to do more. You delve deeper into the dungeon to get more stuff. So it's one of those, it's more about the social dynamics. Like, who's the crazy one that just keeps going and then gets killed by the dragon? Who's the person that cuts out early and never seems to win? You know, that kind of stuff. You know, and knowing when to turn and go. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not a fun thing. It's just not my cup of tea. The legacy thing added, from what I read and watched, it added lots of additional abilities and alternate versions of abilities, and you know, the deck building aspect of it is also very interesting to me. But this is based on the Acquisitions Incorporated, which is it's a long running D&D campaign from the people at Penny Arcade, which I don't know if you know them. I read Penny Arcade when it started, back when I had Papyrus AOL Instant Messenger with maroon backgrounds. I also used ICQ. Okay, I wasn't a loser, but they were like one of the first webcomics. It was fun seeing. It's Mike. I'm probably gonna screw up his name. Krahulik. He's the artist, and watching him develop was incredible. And he would talk about upgrading his kit, and I remember when he got his first drawing tablet, where it had a screen inside it, and how amazed he was at basically the difference that made in his ability to do things. I bought their books. I loved their content. They had this fantastic bit of Red and Blue from Tribes, and I was a hardcore Tribes player, so it really spoke to me. I corresponded once or twice with Jerry Hawkins, who's the writer, who is he is a national treasure. The man's writing is unbelievably good. If you do nothing else this week, look up Penny Arcade Carrot Cake Soup. The comic is, sorry Mike, but the comic is practically incidental to the story. Now, I don't think the story in its original form is still online. I think that it's referenced in a later post and reprinted. But look it up. Penny Arcade Carrot Cake Soup. That is one of the greatest pieces of American nonfiction that's ever been put to page. I swear to you, it is so good. And it's brief. It's a little short story. It's amazing, and it really gives you a sense of just how incredible Jerry Hawkins is as a writer. And they created the PAX Expo, and then in 2009, 8, they did a podcast where they had a guy who actually makes D&D be their DM or GM, whatever, as they went through a campaign, and they created they basically made a campaign about like working in an office, but like fantasy style, and the company, the corporation is Acquisitions Incorporated. And I didn't watch any of it. I'm not into that stuff, but people love it. And I actually have a game. What is it? I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically about is it Market Quest? Bazaar? I don't know. So basically you have stalls and you sell goods to adventurers, and then they bring back stuff from the dungeons that you use to position in your shop to acquire, to entice better adventurers to go on better, on and on. And one of the expansions for that was Acquisitions Incorporated. They did this for several years, I believe, at PAXs, where they did these live D&D events. And so, but this was interesting to me because this Clank, Acquisitions Incorporated 2, is coming out, and a month ago, this came out on Kickstarter. The series. They're going to do 10 podcasts in a big studio and like do it up real nice for almost $500,000. 3,000 people paid $500,000 for these guys to play D&D live for you. Well, D&D on film for people. This is a movement. I wish them the best. I mean, Penny Arcade was great. I drifted away because they, the comic was. It was about the things. It was about gaming and whatnot, but it was like a lot about stuff that happened to them, and the things in their life influenced what they wrote about, and we just diverged at one point, and I didn't follow it. But it's awesome to see what they've done. They did the Child's Play where they, people play games and donate money to put video game consoles in children's hospitals. I mean, I'm going to tear up just thinking about it. Like, that's fantastic. So they don't need your help, but if you like Penny Arcade and you like Acquisitions Incorporated, that's for you. All right. So we're now to the very last thing of the day. Can you believe it? We made it. This was what this was always supposed to be about, leading up to this moment. Everything that I like, what Funderground Games is supposed to be, is drawing attention to small creators, gaming creators that could use some more love. So I try to do that throughout, but we were always supposed to have one, and that is, I designed the award and I forgot to put it up. It's okay. I'm a moron. But here it is. It's not. Oh, that's right. Because you know what? Because it was at the beginning. See? This is why you need a producer. I put it in the front because I'm stupid. And so we're going to roll back. There it is. This is our... It's the FunderDog. Okay? Don't at me about the name. Wait, here. Can we do this? Does this work? So, this is the winner for the week, and I'll reach out to this guy and I'll send him a copy of the logo that I created, which is the FunderDog. I think you should back this. It was already successful, but it's kind of hard to not be successful when your goal is $1. This guy, this is a great concept. This is it's a card game. It's a print and play. Okay, and here's what's cool. So he won. You may not know this. Every year, Board Game Geek has a print and play competition. I think they also have a roll and write one too. And he won the 2-player print and play contest. look at all these accolades from them. It's great. He did a good job. He worked hard. He made something that all these people love, and he is putting it on here for what? What's the max? $26, and you get some box set. I don't even know what Nomadic Gardeners is. Let's find out. What's Nomadic Gardeners? Are those Nomadic Gardeners? No. You get little STLs to print your own things. What is Nomadic Gardeners? Look, there's a game. There's also a game, which is a card game that I'm sure he designed. But this game is cool. That's it. Just straight up, it's cool. You don't need me to tell you that. He won the Board Game Geek 2-player print and play. I love it. I think the design is clean. I like the mechanics. It's cheap as hell. I mean, if you don't get the box game, you get everything. Like, honestly, I would back the $6. Well, actually, I don't even need the building tokens, but that's cool to have. But $4? Come on. Back it and then make a dummy account and back it again. You know? $4. This is amazing. This guy deserves to be rewarded for the work, right? Come on, guys. This is what we're about. This guy made a game, designed the whole thing, got some art going, looks really good, and he put it out there. It got judged by his peers, and everybody loved it. He deserves something for that, right? That's the dream. That's what we're here to do. Get a reward for hard work. So, if you can, reward this guy. He worked hard, and it's cool. It really is. And I went past my limit, and my voice can tell you that anyway. All right, so that's our Roll and Write. I'm sorry. I don't have a Roll and Write award yet. I will, though. Trust me. Now I'm making promises. My body's got to cash. Yeah, I think this is a good thing. He is our FunderDog for the week. Every week we'll pick one that we highly recommend, and then I'll reach out to the people and I'll send them the Illustrator file, so if they want, they can slap it on there. Not that they're going to care. Nobody cares what I'm doing right now, but hey, maybe someday. Maybe, eventually. Someday my dreams may come. But yeah, congrats to you. Should probably know his name. Chris Scaffidi? God, I'm probably butchering that. We'll just say Chris. Congratulations to you, Chris. Here we go, one more time. Yeah. There's probably a feedback loop because that was loud enough to come across my headset, which means, ooh, sorry. Well, I'll figure that out. All right, well, that's it for this week. Come back next week where I will... Looks like next week's going to be on Thursday, too. I just realized that the schedule is not permitting. It's going to be Thursday again, guys. I'm really trying to make it every Wednesday. I really am. But hey, when it's Thursday, it gives me a little more time to investigate, and then we get to a better idea of where things have landed. And also, it lets a couple guys slide in, right? So it's not the worst thing in the world. All right, well, you guys have a good rest of your week. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. And play some games. And back Cartref.